Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. Happy spring of 2024. Can you believe this is March? And look at this. No snow in the woods, a little bit of snowbanks over here alongside the road, but I'm in Lake Placid too, and not much snow left. But anyways, I'm in Lake Placid to meet my daughter for dinner. Jax and I decided to come up and do a leg stretcher before dinner. So we are on the Brewster Peninsula. We're doing the Ridge Loop Trail today. So follow along. Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. Happy spring. It is definitely spring here. We have had some very nice days up here. I am in Lake Placid, like I said, to meet my daughter for dinner tonight. She lives over by Plattsburgh, so we kind of meet in between. She is getting into camping, so I'm going to be meeting with her and making some plans. Anyways, I am on the Brewster Peninsula. It's the Ridge Trail. It's in Lake Placid here. Jax and I came up here a little early so we can do this leg stretcher. But in this video, I'm going to talk about a question that I commonly get asked when people see me. It is, how do I finance what I do here? How do I finance my channel? How do I finance all the places I go to? Because I just did a video here not too long ago, was posted on my audit of what I paid last year when I went camping. But so that seems to be a question when people see me personally ask me. You know, some of them are rude about it. You know, they make a snide comment about being rich or something. Others are, you know, how do you afford to take so much time? And I'll tell you how I do this and what it will take for you to do it too. So to tell my story on how I'm able to do this, I have to go all the way back to 1998 in an event in my life, which I have commonly referred to on my channel as the 1998 ice storm. It was the Great Northeast Ice Storm. When that happened, I was your typical guy. Had a house, a car, a truck, motorcycle, four-wheeler, camper, all the payments that went along with it. And when the ice storm hit, I didn't have anything to be prepared for it. 2 days worth of food in the pantry, no money in the bank account because everything was going to payments, and it was not a fun time in my life. Thank God I was in the fire department because my brothers and sisters of the fire department really helped me out. I got meals cooked for me. I had, you know, I was working all during the ice storm, but the one thing was that the generators that were coming out were for first responders first, and then the general public afterwards. So my neighbor, he's retired, great guy, you know, he came over and asked me if I was going to get one of the generators, and when I told him I can't afford it, he said, I'll be right back. And he went home next door, came back, how much? I said, well, a good one is going to be $800, and he handed me $800 in cash and said, go get it, my boy. And great guy, great neighbor. I went over, got the generator, came home. He took extension cords, cut the end off them, wired up our furnaces, so we were good. We had heat during the ice storm, and which was absolutely great. But I was so mad at myself because I had no money, I had no food in the pantry, and I had nothing other than bank-owned toys. And I decided at that point things were going to change. So how did I manage to get out of a situation where I've had all these toys, making payments on all these toys, and really not able to save any money? And to make matters worse, back then, 98 ice storm is where I got hurt. Had to have surgery on my neck, and I was off work for many months, and it wasn't pleasant. That really put a dinger in any kind of plan to get out of debt. And then it seemed like for a couple years there, we went right into from one emergency to another emergency, because after I went back to work after my neck injury, I ended up, we had a house was damaged. We had to do emergency repairs, and this is when I learned that the insurance companies are not to be trusted. The damage at the house came a little over $9,000. The insurance company wrote me a check for $4,100 and said, good luck. And I battled it out with them and ended up not getting anywhere. So another setback. Had a motor vehicle accident, which was another setback. So it wasn't until really 2005, and I'm trying to swim and tread water at the same time, until 2005 when I discovered this bald-headed man that was on the radio, and his name was Dave Ramsey. And I've mentioned a couple times in my previous videos about the Ramsey plan. So after listening to him a few times, I thought, well, it kind of makes sense, wouldn't hurt. I've been treading water now for 6 years, haven't got really too far. So things went. The motorcycle was gone, four-wheeler was gone, the second vehicle was gone, and also in my life at that time, a girlfriend was gone. And so it was like starting new, but with so much in debt. And so I decided at that time, every waking minute I'm gonna be working. I gotta be making money. So not only did I have my main job, I had a second job, and I had a third job. And I did that for 6 years. And it took about 3 years to get out of the debt, and then the other 3 to build up some healthy accounts. And now here we are, 2024, and people ask me, how do you afford to do this stuff? Especially after they saw, the video that I did a couple weeks ago where I did an audit on myself. And gas is a huge bill. But what I do now is I have an account that every month I put money in. I call it my ADK account, and put money in it, and that is the money I use for this. Go out camping, traveling, and when you have no debt and you have an income, and it's not like I have a huge income. I've never had a huge income in my life. But once, when I was working 3 jobs, I was pretty flush with money, but I had no time to do anything else. I had no time to spend it, basically, because I was working to get out of debt. So if you are heavily in debt, I highly recommend you looking at the Ramsey plan. It is it works. I'm living proof of it. It works. I did my own plan for about 6 years. Got very little done. And when I finally woke up, and decided, well, you know what? I can only ride the snowmobiles when there's snow. Sell them. The four-wheeler is a great little toy, but you have to insure it. You have to register it, and that takes money. And how often did I really use it? I didn't use it a lot when I was working all the time. That was gone. I did keep my camper, and there was a couple of summers that it never moved. But now I can tell you, when I bought my Tundra, people ask me, did you pay cash? No, I didn't. I did have a healthy down payment on it, and I worked to pay it off about a year or so. And then same thing when I bought my camper. And now I have money going into my retirement accounts because I want to be able to retire halfway decent if I make it there. And who knows if Social Security is going to be around, how much longer that's going to be there. The government's not going to take care of you. I can tell you that right now. If you think that the government's going to give you a stimulus check every time there's a hiccup in the economy or hiccup in this world, it's not. So that's, if you're in debt, that's what I highly recommend. Look up Dave Ramsey. He has a podcast. He has YouTube shows. He has a good group around him with, Ken Coleman and John Delaney and Jade, his daughter, Rachel Cruz, and George Camel is the other one. He cracks me up. But anyways, I digress. So, of course, as I get older, having all those toys aren't exciting anymore. When I was a young guy, it was, having the motorcycle, having the four-wheelers, snowmobiles, all that good stuff. But it's just not appealing anymore. I'm not a guy that has all those toys, or a guy that goes to the bar or casino. I work all winter long. I stack money away so I can take time off during the summer and go camping. So the first thing you have to do in your life, like I did, was you have to look in the mirror. That's where it starts. Look in the mirror, because getting out of debt, 20% is just knowledge. The other 80% is behavior, and it's so true. And your income is your best wealth building tool, without a doubt. So that is my story on how I can afford to do this. Like I say, I don't have a job that pays me a huge amount of money. I just don't. But when you don't have debt, and you're paying the bank every month, you can do a lot with it. You still have to pay your electric bill, your internet bill, and if you live in a municipality where you got to pay for your water bill and your sewer bill. I don't. I live out in the woods. I have basically one neighbor next door to me, and so yeah, this is how I did it. So it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're in your 50s and you want to get out of debt, you can still do it. But I got to tell you, you're not going to do it sitting around on the couch watching YouTube videos like mine. No, watch mine. Don't watch the others. But anyways, I'm telling you, it has worked for me. I've never made a ton of money in my life, but I do have money in my retirement accounts. I do have money that allows me to go do this. And when you have an emergency like I had before with my neck, and I didn't have any money, and then I had to we had the house got damaged in the storm, and the insurance company was like, well, here's dangled the check out in front of you. And at the time I didn't realize it, but what they got me on was when they sent me the check for $4,100, by cashing that check, you were agreeing that satisfied the amount due. So they play all sorts of games. They did back then, and they still do now. It's even worse now. But I highly recommend, look up DaveRamsey.com, go to Dave Ramsey on YouTube, and the first person that starts with is yourself to get out of debt. So anyways, we're almost through this trail. Jax and I just came up before we met my daughter for dinner. Decided to get a leg stretcher in. Since it's a great day, it's about 48 degrees. If you come to this trail, it is off of Peninsula Way, I think is the street. And it is, there's multiple trails back in here. There's the Ridge Loop, there's the Peninsula Loop. And we kind of did a little bit of both, I guess. And it's a decent little leg stretcher. Jack likes going out on these, so I decided, it's a nice day, let's do it. So it's in Lake Placid, New York. It is on All Trails, on the All Trails app. And if you come, there's areas of the trail you will need hiking boots on. Flip-flops, sandals will be difficult. There's areas of the trail that it's rutted and rocky and muddy, but some of the trail is like this right here. So that's my story. I hope I didn't bore you with the story, but that's a question that frequently gets asked to me when people see me. You know, some people, I guess, have a hard time understanding, you know. I know I don't blame them. I'm not mad at them for asking the question, but when they ask, how do you afford to do this stuff? And you know, I work all winter long because I'm not a big guy I'm not big on getting out during the winter. It doesn't appeal to me anymore. And so, other than a few trips down to Florida that I take every now and then, like this trip here, I went down to the Bills, watched the Bills-Miami game, week 18, beginning of January, and I'll tell you what, the weather down there, we're under a tornado warning for part of the time down there. And then we came up here to the North Country and had 70, 80 mile an hour winds. But anyways, that's the story, and thanks for watching all the way through, because I know this is different than my other videos, but normally I look up the history of a place that I go to and talk a little bit about that, but today I answered a money question. Alright folks, you watched all the way through. Thanks for that. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button down below. Continue to follow the adventure. And remember, folks, tomorrow is no guarantee for any one of us. So disconnect from that Wi-Fi, connect to this out here. You won't be disappointed.